Cousins to a massive 3-year deal last month for $84 million guaranteed. In the process, Case Keenum signed with the Broncos after leading Minnesota to the NFC title game. One anonymous NFL executive was apparently not a fan of the move, saying the quarterback money is stupid. Kirk is a good player, but he cannot finish games. He couldn't do it at Michigan State, and he can't do it in the NFL. It might have been better keeping Keenum at a much lower price. We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst Ray Lewis. Welcome, Ray. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Do you agree with the executive?
Well, I agree is one thing. I think living this story out is another. And I think you have to be very careful with what they're doing with this situation, right? So you can't buy team chemistry. You can't buy a togetherness of going through ups and downs. It's just impossible to buy it. And one of the biggest problems that people have is you go out and you get this, oh, he's the next new thing. He's going to come in and he's going to change it around. But I think that's irrelevant when your locker room is secure. When you have a locker room that's strong. 2000, we got Trent Dilfer. Mm-hmm. We good. We good. Whether you think we're not good, right? You look at the Minnesota Vikings on one game away from being in the Super Bowl.
They had the number one defense.
The number one defense.
Yep.
So you got to come back, and you have to give him, I think, that opportunity to finish that out. Because what happens now is the locker room shifts. Well, should it happen? Should it not happen? Right? And then you get into the facts of where we really get in trouble at. Because then you bring in an Elvis Grbac, and then he doesn't produce. So then you sit back saying, I pay all this guy this money. We sat in the same room where you heard this guy say, well, you know what? The offense is going to move faster, and we're going to do this. And, Elvis Grbac has a better arm than Trent Dilfer. Well, maybe.
Was that the year after the Super Bowl?
After the Super Bowl.
Next year.
Same thing.
Elvis Grbac.
Same thing. And even though they was one game away, same situation. So I'm just telling you, now we have to sit back and we have to watch how this plays out. Because if Kirk Cousins doesn't go win a Super Bowl, then he's no better than what Keenum had. And that's why I think you have to be very careful with that.
Well, unfortunately, Suge, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going to have to disagree with you and this anonymous exec. Because here's the thing. You try to gather as much information as you possibly can to make the best decision you possibly can. So are you want to look at Kirk Cousins' 3-year body of work, or are you just going to take Case Keenum 14 games body of work? Because they're quick to say, well, he couldn't win at Michigan. He couldn't win in the NFL. I know a guy that's going into his 10th year, Matthew Stafford. He had no Sean Marino, A.J. Green. He was the number 1 pick in the draft, and he couldn't win an SEC title. And he has yet to win a division title. Case Keenum just won one. Okay, I get that. When I look at Kirk Cousins, I believe Kirk Cousins is an upgrade over Case Keenum because we're looking at 14 games. Prior to those 14 games, he was 24 touchdowns, 20 interceptions.
The same thing, we sat in a room and we heard Brian Billick say the same thing about Elvis Grbac, that his numbers are better, he's a better quarterback than Trent Dilfer. But we said, where I'm coming from, we said as a locker room, give me Trent.
Right, but here's the thing.
Wait, time out. You went back?
No, that was 2000, 2001. So I was there for 2 years. So the year after we won the Super Bowl. But the thing was, they tried to transition us to a different type of a team. We were a running team. They wanted to move us to a passing team. So they were going to gradually move away from Jamal and put the ball in the quarterback's hands. They were thinking, Brian and Ozzy's thinking, there's no way that defense can be that transcendent again. So we can't rely so much. We're going to have to be able to throw the football. They're saying, hold on, wait a minute. We got Stephon Diggs. We got Thielen. We got Kyle Rudolph. Dalvin Cook's going to come back. We still got, I think.
What happened to the 0-1 Ravens? I don't remember.
Yeah, the 0-1 Ravens, we went to the divisional round against Pittsburgh. And Elvis Grbac melted.
We turned the ball over too much.
3 turnovers. I mean, we win that game. I guarantee you, we go back and win another Super Bowl.
Was that at Baltimore?
That was at Pittsburgh.
At Pittsburgh. But the thing was, we turned the ball over too much that year. And the thing was, Elvis, teams would blitz the first play. Normally, teams like to feel you out. Let's see what you're going to run. They come out the gate blitzing because they know, like, if we get him once.
The same promise. Now, we was delivered a promise that this is so much better. I'm just saying, this situation I've seen before. Because he has to go win it.
Right.
Kirk Cousins has to go win it for him to be better than what Case Keenum
The
did.
only difference I would say this, Ray, is that Trent had a bigger body of work. Trent had gone to the Pro Bowl. Trent had started for 6-7 years. Case Keenum has never really been a starter. So this is his first.
Trent Dilfer was like the fourth pick in the draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Trent had a bigger body of work than what Case Keenum is
By
working
the time
with.
he got to you in 2000, he was low risk,
Yes.
low reward,
Yeah.
where you didn't ask him to do much, and his ego didn't dictate that he
Right.
did do too much,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
He was a team player.
Yeah.
He was a team player, and that's what I'm talking about. It was the fit. The fit. Like if you saw Case and what Minnesota them was doing this past year, it's like they fit. They get it.
And by the way, Trent played pretty well in that Super Bowl against the Giants, right?
No, we just needed him to make.
Well,
Just
didn't he
throw it
make
to the
a couple
team.
throws?
Yeah, he made a big throw to Brandon to
Stokely.
Yeah, he did.
The thing was, listen,
Well, I mean, I just remember
we play for two big. We play for a big play
That's
and
it.
not turn it over, and we let Ray and them do what they do.
Right.
That's all he had to do.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Right.
I am so with Ray. I've been on this side from the start.
You'll get
I've
Cousins.
told you from the start. He's Kirk Cousins. Kirk. He's Kirk Cousins. His record overall is 26-30-1 as the starter for the Washington Redskins. 1-6 against his arch rival Dallas Cowboys. Those are the biggest games of the year. He's 1-6 and he's 0-4 against the Cowboys at home. That's no good. Played one playoff game and lost it, albeit to Aaron Rodgers. But I'm with Ray on this. If you told me that Belichick had successfully pushed Brady out the back door and he wound up with Minnesota, I'd say, okay, good. That's an upgrade because you could trust that. If you told me somehow Green Bay got sideways with Aaron Rodgers over money and traded him to Minnesota, to an arch rival, I'd say, okay, good, go with that. That's better than Case Keenum. But I just don't see, I'm with this executive, Kirk is a good player because he is a good player, but he cannot finish games. He couldn't do it at Michigan State, can't do it in the NFL. That's what I saw. Again, I told you, every time Dallas played Washington, I was good because I knew Kirk would throw it to us in the end, and he always did.
But here's the
So
thing.
really, you just paid him. Look at the money.
Skip, if you-
26 million, 28, and 30,
Ray,
all guaranteed.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty. You take away the top 7 quarterbacks. Who can finish? If you take away Brady, you take away Breeze, you take away Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers, who's finishing games? Russell Wilson, and maybe you throw Campbell. But who's finishing games? So you got 32 quarterbacks. You got really 5 to 7 that can finish. What about the rest of them?
You better hope that Case Keenum can finish games because now you got him.
Oh, but
Yeah.
Skip, if this was Nick Foles that did what Case Keenum had done and they wanted to stick with him, I could live with it because he has a larger body of work. He had been a starter. He had gone to the Pro Bowl. So we see this. What we've seen from Case Keenum, he's a backup who had a great 14-game stretch. But they also saw what happened in that championship game. They saw what happened. He fell apart. They had a 7-point lead.
He didn't fall apart in the opening drive. It looked pretty great.
And then what happened? How did Philly get back into the game?
The
He
best,
threw a big 6.
but the best defensive back on the Eagles picked it and ran it back, and he's now in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they loaded.
Yeah.
Howard the Builder. I trust Howard the Builder.
He's a builder.
If you think about the ending of this,
Yes.
the next year, 2, 3,
Yes.
we're looking for one ending from Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he got to win the Super Bowl.
He gotta win the Super
yes,
Bowl.
there's no question about
That's
it. There's no when you give somebody a fully guaranteed
100%.
$28 million a year, and there's no roster bonus
Yeah.
if you're on the roster this, or if you work out that. When you give somebody $28 million
You're
per
done,
year,
man.
fully
You
guaranteed,
sacrifice your whole
he
team.
must
Right.
within those 3 years take that team to a Super Bowl and win it.
Yeah.
No question.
And as this pointed out, there are 3 studs on defense, all going to want their money.
Money?
And
Yeah.
at some point, they're going to be saying, really?
But you know how Skip.
It changes the dynamics. I'm from a money perspective, you know this. From a team perspective, keeping pieces together, it changes their perspective. If we make the decision back then
Yes.
to bring Trent Dilfer back and Priest Holmes back, we go back to back.
Well, I don't know if we could bring Priest back because he's gonna get so much. He got so much more money to go to Kansas City, and that's what happens when you win. See, when you let's look at a chicken house. If your chicken's laying good eggs, at some point in time, somebody gonna come offer you enough money, they're gonna have to go.
I'm not looking at no chicken house. I'm
But
talking
you
about
can-
Kirk Cousins.
But I get it though, Ray. But you know what happens when you win? What
Right. Yeah,
They
everybody
start-
want to get paid. Absolutely.
They wanna get paid.
Absolutely.
I
Which
got
is
it
why
right.
which is why this investment for me, for a guy that has not won a Super Bowl.
Right.
This investment for me is a risky investment for the
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings.
But everything-
I don't know if I make that investment as close as I was to the end to winning the Super Bowl.
But what they've done a great job of signing a lot of these guys. That entire D line is signed up.
Yep.
That secondary is signed up. Now they're going to have to make a decision on Barr.
Yep.
They're going to have to make a decision on Diggs. But you know when you win, you can't keep everybody. Somebody's got to go. So you make this kind of investment. You got that D line, all those Pro Bowl players signed up. You got the back end signed up. Somebody's going to go. It's just that's how it works, Skip. And that we saw that what happened with Seattle. That's why Seattle got so upset with Pete Carroll. Not only did you risk that, now we get guys going other places, and we're never going to be the same again. Remember the night that night before we played the Super Bowl, and I spoke to us at the Super Bowl, and what did I tell you? I said it's never going to be like this again.
Right.
I say players are going to leave, coaches are going to leave. So you better enjoy this moment. You better make sure you capitalize on it, because it's never going to be the same.
Right.
Well, they just gave 28 per year. Kirk understands. First Cousins going to get it done.
If they gave him $28 million a year, the best quarterback in the NFC is who? From your perspective,
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins will beat Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship.
No.
Joy laughed. I like
Right.
that.
So
Just made Joy
But Aaron
laugh.
Rodgers about to get 30.
but the point is, if he's not beating him in the NFC Championship, then what are we doing?
Wait, you know how free agency works? It's not about being good. It's about being free.
Being free.
That's how it's always been.
You're worth what someone's willing to pay you. It's just that it's Kirk Cousins, and he's getting paid a lot. So
Absolutely. He
What
has to win it.
What if after those defensive player of the years, you'd have been a free agent? Totally free.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Hypothetical.
You're like,
Right. But that wasn't going to happen anyway.
Shannon Sharp, who is the most overpaid football player in the history of the National Football League? You know it, and I know it. It's Kirk
I don't
Cousins.
know. He's earned that
You
money.
know. 26, 28, and 30 guaranteed?
Yeah. Oh, first cousin.
Really?
Shay, he got to win it. That's all I'm going to tell
he's
you.
not going to give you a
Shannon.
cut of it just because you can.
Yeah.
Right.
He got to
He
win.
gotta win it.
Skip, he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. You like that, rubbing the general manager's head. Skip, that rubbed a lot of people. That rubbed you the wrong way.
You did.
Let him
Back it up.
Let him have fun.
If you jumping on Kirk bandwagon, if Kirk don't win it, I want you to come in here with a Kirk,
I would be-
Kirk jersey on.
He is
He'll
Kirk.
jump right off that bandwagon faster than you can blink.
He first.
Maybe it's because you plan on gambling on the Cavs and Sixers, so you need somebody to lend you some money.
Yeah. 100
Got it.
racks.
Ray will be back later in the show. Should Floyd Mayweather be criticizing Conor McGregor's behavior? We'll discuss that next.